E-bike conversion kits are a fairly economical way to get into the e-bike world, especially if you already have a bike that you enjoy riding. As the field continues to grow, more and unique kits continue to hit the market that enable these conversions, like this one from the UK. Clearly they're taking a very different, unique approach here. Something like this is super easy to install, it's minimal, and it does give you electric assist. But by far, the most popular e-bike conversion kits are something like this. They're a bit more involved. You have to switch out one of your wheels for one with the integrated hub motor, but you end up with a legit full e-bike. And some of these kits are really affordable and give you insane levels of power. But the question of this video is, are these kits, any of them, actually worth it? Or would you be better off just buying a name brand bike, of which there are plenty to choose from. Now, I've been lucky enough to build and test out lots of different e-bikes in the past couple of years, and I wanted to give you guys an updated opinion, pros and cons list of building versus buying an e-bike in 2024, given all of the rapid changes we're seeing in the market. So the two main groups that I think are attracted to building custom bikes are beginners and enthusiasts. To quickly touch on the enthusiast, this group of people will always want to build their own bike. The process itself is fun, fulfilling, and it leaves you with a custom, often high-powered, unique device. But this isn't the average consumer. The average consumer is guided primarily by economics and practicality. Beginners are the other primary group of DIY custom bike builders, and they're drawn in because of the economics. They see that you can buy a kit for just a couple $100 online, install it on a pre-existing bike, and boom, just like that, you have potentially a very fast, high-powered e-bike. And this is the group I found myself in personally when I first got into the e-bike field. I wanted a high-performance bike without spending too much money, so I purchased this exact 72-volt conversion kit and a cheap bike from Walmart. The project came together pretty nice, and I was left with a great bike. It went 40 miles per hour, had solid range, full suspension, and was affordable at around $200 to $2,500. But that was in 2021, and since then your options in the field have greatly expanded, and thus, if I was in the same situation today, I don't think I would have built a custom bike again. So I discovered there's three primary cons to building your own bike. The first is just the fit and finish of a DIY bike build. It's just never going to be at the same quality as a professionally built, mass-produced commercial e-bike. Specifically, the big issue I had with my original build was figuring out exactly how to mount the battery, along with the controller replacement and the overall cable management. If you take a closer look at really any specific e-bike on the market, the bike frame is modified to accommodate and often hide these components. So my buddy's Onyx, for example, has this tray right in the middle, which holds the battery. Regular bikes don't have such options built into the frame. I did find workarounds and was able to get the bike in a usable state, but it was always very DIY in nature. It did not give off professional, high-quality vibes. The second huge consideration here that kind of piggybacks off point one is resale value. If you're building a bike specifically to save money, remember that ultimately when you move on to your next bike or what have you, and you go to sell this bike, a DIY build will sell for pennies on the dollar, unfortunately. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just a randomly built bike with off-the-shelf components, and there's no kind of quality control. And name brand, stock, non-modified bikes do a much better job retaining their original value. So just remember this when running the numbers to see how much building a bike versus buying a bike is ultimately going to cost you. And my third point here is potentially even bigger than the previous two, and it's the primary force that's been pulling me away from preferring custom builds, and that's the growing list of high-quality alternatives to choose from on the market. So the big reason I decided to build my first e-bike versus buying one is because at the time, a fast 40 miles per hour, long range, full suspension e-bike around $2,000, it just simply didn't exist. The only way to get a bike like that was to build it myself. However, today we have lots more options to choose from as the field continues to develop. And just to illustrate this, if I put my DIY bike side by side to the new Wired Freedom, you can see that I essentially made my own worse early version of this bike. But now that I can just buy it and fulfills all of my requirements of the performance, the suspension, the price, and it avoids the previous two drawbacks of building your own custom bike, it just wouldn't make sense anymore for me to still build that bike today. And the Wired Freedom is just one example of this. There's loads of new and diverse e-bikes hitting the market continuously, and I cover a lot of them on this channel. But the odds are, if you're looking to build your own bike, because you want specific specifications, performance, price, what you're looking for probably already exists. And if it does, or there's something very close to what you want, it's going to be a better option than building your own janky DIY system. So that's why I think most people now in 2024 are going to be better off buying a bike versus building their own. But there still definitely are pros to building your own bike, especially for enthusiasts that want a unique system, usually very high performance. The only way to do that is to build your own bike. And also the building process can be very fun, enjoyable, and it's a great opportunity to learn everything there is about an electric bike. And with these new innovative e-bike conversion kits in the market, there could be another niche of people that could benefit from these newer DIY builds. So I'm going to cover these in an upcoming video, so make sure you guys subscribe for that. If you're still watching and enjoyed, I appreciate a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.